Hello everybody, it's Zeidoktor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is dedicated to Attack on Titan, Chapter 84, Midnight Sun. And we're picking up right where we left off. They're on the roof of a building. Eren and Mikasa are pretty much ready to draw weapons on Levi to give the Titan serum to Armin instead of Erwin.
Yep. I just for a second I just lost control of my. It made me go to another chapter. 1 sec.
Okay. In that case, I'll just keep going here.
Yeah.
Levi's pretty much pointing out that Erwin is the leader of the Survey Corps. You're telling me to just sit there and let him die?
Okay. Yeah. By the way, I just got back.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're arguing about who should survive. Eren's trying to basically question Levi's thought process, saying, "Look, when you hesitated. Why'd you hesitate? Because I was thinking that Erwin was gonna come. How the hell could you think that?" Basically was the conversation, and then it actually gets into a bit of a brawl. Mikasa sees her brother get hit, so she attacks Levi, and we have a bit of struggle. By the way, the two Ackermans, I forgot, did they ever actually point out that those two have the same last name?
Not within the story.
Not in the story, right? You would think that, hey, the two strongest people on this team have the same last name.
Actually, I wonder how many people even know Levi's last name.
That's true. That is true. It's one of those things that the audience knows and most of the characters don't, I guess.
Yeah, or not enough of them know to make the connection.
Yeah. So anyway, the two cousins basically are fighting, and they're arguing about who should become the Titan.
Yep.
And Armin was the one who came up with all this stuff, and they're like, oh well, Erwin can do that. Erwin. Well, first off, yeah, that's what Eren says, and then they say, well, Erwin has done a lot of things too. He did the whole suicide charge. Although to be fair, the suicide charge doesn't seem as a good, a good enough thing compared to all the stuff that Armin's done. But I'm sure
that's a point that's kind of addressed in a way a little bit later.
Yeah, but I'm sure that they're also thinking of the things that Erwin's done before too. I mean, what the issue here is is that it's biased to the point where they both experienced with the guy for a long enough time that they trust him. So to them, he's the guy. He's the one who should be resurrected. And they're basically going to argue over this. It's sort of like two conflicting sides that will never get into an end. And they, the guy.
One real quick thing here, by the way, it's like right now. You're on the guy where he's talking about how he found Erwin.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, he pretty much relates that he and Erwin are the only two people still left alive from the other side of that wall because the Beast Titan killed them.
Yeah.
And Erwin pretty much led the suicide charge, like you said. One thing I found kind of interesting here is he's found Erwin, and he was gonna put him out of his misery, but then it's that seemed like such a half-hearted end for him. I thought that maybe he'd still needed to experience more hell. It almost seems like he wants him to resurrect her so he'll suffer more.
Well, I mean, Erwin has done a lot of more questionable things.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, though. Armin's plans have never actually been as detrimental to the squad that Erwin. When Erwin does something, it's always like, oh, by the way, these 200 people are gonna die too. When Armin does something, it's sort of like at most 2 or 3 guys. Like if you actually think about it.
Of course, he hasn't really been in a position to determine that many people's lives.
True. Yeah, that is true. But his plans, however, have been just as risky in terms of what they needed to do. Like put a boulder in front of the wall. What else is there? Was figure out Annie's identity. The fact that exposing Reiner and defeating Bertold, barely not compared to Erwin though. Like Erwin was he sacrificed the entire city here. Sacrifice all the survey corps here. It's just.
Isn't he also the one who developed that method though for traveling outside the walls, like for using the smoke signals and things in ways and formations to keep the Titans from getting them too easily?
I think Erwin did that too. Yeah. But I think you can also argue that that's Cosmology. I think it's one of those things where Erwin has been there longer, so maybe because of that he has done more questionable things, which they will talk about later. But I think what they're trying to say is they've both done things that have been very good for the team overall. So at this point, it's just arguing who's done better or who is more useful. But in reality, it's actually just I've been with this guy longer, so I want him to come back. That's what it comes down to, really.
At any point, everybody is kind of like Hanji. This is when Hanji kind of jumps in as well to kind of stop Mikasa.
Yeah. So Hanji actually says Erwin should be the one. And because he's unlike Armin, actually, the advantage Erwin does have over Armin is that he established himself as a symbol. He was the commander. He has success. And if the commander dies, then that's a problem. Plus, he's also a good leader. And then Hanji actually flashes back to how she actually survived, where someone actually threw her into a well that allowed her to survive the vaporizing blast. I'll say to that guy, thank you very much for saving one of my favorite characters. So you have done a great job, excellent job
for what it's worth. I believe his name. Since I read up on this a little recently, I think his name is Moblit.
They actually give these guys names. Okay.
Well, they named the Survivor guy just a few pages ago.
Yeah. Well, because he survived. But this guy died. So, well, I guess naming people actually makes them more. You're more invested when they die. I did not remember his name, so I'm not gonna lie. I don't really care that he died. That said, thank you very much for saving Hanji. Yeah. Yes. Now, basically, okay, we need to move forward. And then Mikasa cries. Eren cries. Well,
he desperately tries to tell them about their dream of seeing the ocean together.
Yeah, and Levi actually heard about this dream because he was eavesdropping.
Yeah, we actually do see it, kind of flash back to that.
Yeah. So, and then he flashbacks to when Erwin was talking about his dream of seeing the basement, and then he remembers about Kenny and how they couldn't keep going, and all that stuff. Let's see, and
they couldn't keep going unless they were drunk on something.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, they were all slaves or something, even him. And then right as he is about to put in the injection, Erwin gets a little. He gets a little
he stretches his arm around and Levi's thinking even him, but he's muttering to himself about a question he asked the teacher a long time ago.
Actually, what's the word I'm looking for? He's experiencing stuff.
Flashback's pretty close, life flashes before your eyes kind of thing.
Well, but he's actually enacting it. He's actually going through it. So I forgot what they call that. There was a word for that. I forgot, but whatever. He's reenacting an experience he had in his memories, where he's asking the teacher about what is out there, and but then Levi remembers the dream about his flashback about dreams and how how he needed to take out the beast titan and all that shit, all that stuff.
And then from there we kind of leave the flashback land and we're back in the present, where a Titan is coming up on armless, legless Bertolt.
It's clearly Armin.
Oh yeah, you can just tell by the hair alone.
Yeah, and Bertolt sees that he's screaming for help. Then he just stops, and then I don't know what he realizes when he sees them, because they're pretty surprised too. Yeah. This is obviously a very the way it's done is really intentional to make it very karma for the fact that this is what happened to Marco.
Yeah, and Eren's mother and all sorts of other people.
Yeah, but specifically Marco, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're showing the fact that he's screaming for help, and then no one's going to help him, and he's just going to have to die.
And they're all watching and even crying themselves.
Well, I think they're crying. Who?
I mean, they might still be crying from everything else that's been going on, but they're still crying while they watch this.
No, but I'm saying that they're not crying because of him. They're crying because Armin's probably they thought that Armin was going to die, but they're not crying for him. They're not crying for Bertolt.
And then,
yeah,
the survivor guy is he's asking Levi why, and he's thinking to himself can't we just let him go? Erwin's his only choice was to become the devil, and it was us who wanted that of him. Not only that, if he was finally freed from hell, but we're going to call him right back into it, just like you. So I think we all just let him rest.
And then he says, he makes a promise that he take out the Beast Titan, but that he's gonna have to hold that promise for a while.
Yeah,
and it turns out,
he got away from him there.
Yeah. And it turns out that Erwin's actually already died. And then they're
Levi's a stoic. Oh.
Well, yeah, he's been through a lot. A lot of deaths too, Petra and the other gang. And then we see Armin has turned back into a normal human.
Yep.
And this
skin and everything.
And they say the soul of the soul of the Cervicor has passed down, which is what allows it to shine on. This is all about new generation, I guess, and that it's Armin's turn to take up the mantle of whatever the hell he wants. You can argue that he could be the same, or he could become the next Eren, or he could become even better than Eren, where he can somehow make these things happen without having to do the things that Eren has done.
Well, that could be a thing here, because something that's kind of that somewhat just now occurred to me is that the Titan world is it's pretty crappy to understate it. But there's been like a steadily growing sense of hope as the series goes on. Like you've got humans who have not been able to do anything about the Titans in 100 years suddenly getting the Titan Shifter and Eren. We start actually learning more about Titans. We've got a brand new governmental regime that actually wants to put a stop to things, and now we've got not only a second Titan Shifter, but like a new generation of leadership and people to actually like carry this onward. It's almost like there is actually like a gradually increasing sense of hope in the series.
Well, I mean, that's the point. That's why that's why the manga was made. We wouldn't want to make a manga where, are they gonna make a manga in between those 500 years when really not much has happened?
Well, there are a couple of spin-offs.
Well, no, but that's happened. That's happened when they just made the 3D movie. Oh, well, wasn't it when they just made it before the 3D moving gear?
No.
It was like before, right?
Oh yeah. There's that before the fall one, which is like when they first invented that stuff.
Yeah, it was when they first invented it, so that's like a sign of hope there too.
There's like a series with Levi too.
Yeah, I mean, like all those things have a certain goal. There's a certain, and I said the one with the 3D moving gear, that is hope, because now look at how important it's become. So the fact that it was made back then, like they made a manga about when it was just made, is about hope, because that was what allowed them to actually survive. So what were you saying no to?
I can't remember now. I was just saying there's like also a spin-off with Levi. I thought you were saying something else when you were mentioning the 3D movement gear, I think is what it was.
No, I was just saying that was when it was first made, I think.
Yeah.
No.
You're right
all
about
the
that.
mangas.
I've read a little bit about. I've read that series a little bit, so you're right.
Yeah, so I think all the manga are going to focus on this type of hope. I mean, like, if you think about it, what is the point of us reading and investing in it if we're just going to keep getting depressed over and over again? Like,
well, there are series that do that.
Yeah, but this is not the type of manga.
On the surface, it is. On the surface,
well, no. It's a manga where everything's depressing, but you have that glimmer of hope to grasp onto. It's different than having. It's different than just like it's going to get worse. There's no point in hoping. Just kill yourself now. Like there's some manga out there that are like that. And look, if you're into that type of manga, that's okay. That's good for you. But I don't think this is that type of manga. Because I mean, that's the thing. Like, if that was this type of manga, then they both die.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like it's a shonen manga, right? What does it say now?
I don't know if it's actually shonen. I don't know if it's qualified to that. It might be.
I think it actually. I don't know. I heard it was made for like 11-year-olds or something. But I mean, it's not. Attack on Titan is made to be very. It does obviously is depressing a lot, and it does push you to the limit. But it's not supposed to be a thing like where you read it and you feel like you want to kill yourself. That's not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to keep you invested and engaged in it, and then of course feel what they feel the despair, so that when you do feel it, you'll understand what hope is, and then when hope comes, you can actually appreciate it a lot more, which is again what they should have done with Bleach, but they didn't. This, I think, Attack on Titan does a lot better, where you do experience all this crap, but when the good stuff does happen, you can actually enjoy it, because then if it happens too much, then you don't really enjoy it as you don't really it's not as good.
They do experience as much defeat as they do victory. That's the tricky part.
Well,
so far, the clearest, most unambiguous victories have probably been when they rocked up the wall early in the series, and the whole thing with Historia.
You have to. They're trying to make sure that you don't just say, "Oh, he's gonna get through this somehow." Like they want you to keep second guessing.
Yeah.
And as long as he keeps doing that, it's fine. Like so. Yeah, again, there are manga out there that are depressing, but that's because they focus on an entirely different thing. Attack on Titan isn't supposed to focus on we're doomed, we all should die anyway. It's saying like, look, even though everyone's doom and gloom, everyone's saying this is pointless, there is reason to hope. There is reason to get to somewhere, and it's not
going to be easy. And the Survey Corps is pretty much made up of those people that actually do have that glimmer of hope.
Yeah, and there is not, and it's not going to be easy, and that is a point that still is important. It's not going to be easy, and it wouldn't be worth fighting for if it wasn't going to be easy, especially in this manga. So, but we do get it, so it's different. Also, does anyone feel bad for Bertold? Because I didn't, not at all.
Not really. I mean, that was more karmic than anything.
And the fact that he was a Colossal Titan and he caused all that, like all the deaths, like the majority of the deaths have been caused.
Every major death that's occurred since the beginning of the series, at least outside of potentially the Survey Corps, has been the direct result of the Colossal Titan.
Yeah.
Now here's a question for you.
Well, indirect is the thing that's better.
Well, direct or indirect, either way.
Well, indirect because he doesn't actually kill himself. So.
Yeah, but he has taken out some people.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you though: is Armin gonna be the Colossal Titan now, or does he get his own unique ability?
Actually, no. I actually decided to go back on that because I realized that it's to me it seemed like what Berto was doing was like a skill rather than like something you obtain. You know, like because you know how like the armor thing is something I think you obtain, like you just like you can take it and give it to someone else. I feel like what Berto was doing was like he just focused on something really hard. Like I don't know, it's just like one of those things.
And that's how he became Colossal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. The thing is, we don't know. Like, it could be possible that it is actually like an
An
attainable,
actual like inherited ability.
like I don't know, like a boost item, basically, because
Like
that's what it was.
Like the armor bottle.
Like the armor bottle. I don't actually know though if he's gonna become the Colossal Titan.
We'll probably find out. I don't know about next chapter, but probably the chapter after that. Once he's had a chance to recover, we'll probably find out.
Let's look. Like think back to Ymir, right? When Ymir became a Titan, it didn't seem like she gained any specific abilities. Maybe the guy she ate didn't have any abilities.
Yeah, well, we don't know about the guy she ate is the problem there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Who else did it? Oh wait. What we didn't know about Eren. We didn't know what Eren's dad's Titan kind of looked like. Well, Eren ate his dad, but he wasn't as big as his dad. Right? Because his dad was supposed to be like really huge, right?
I think so. It's been a while since that we did those chapters, so I can't remember.
I think they emphasized the point that his dad was really freaking huge compared to even the normal Titan, and he ate his dad, and he didn't get any of his dad's abilities. He
has kind of his own thing.
So you can also make the argument that maybe it doesn't get inherited if you like that.
Yeah, and then there's also like special abilities like the whole coordinate thing, which Eren has only got like a barely touch of, and it said that he may not have full access to it.
He may not, although it could be possible that he could figure out a way to get full access to it, because we know that you don't have to be specifically a Rice at least, because we know I'm gonna make the theory out there that Zeke is his uncle, and we know Zeke has like something like the coordinate because he can control Titans,
and he has a history with Eren or Grisha. I say, I'm sorry, Eren's father.
Yeah. It seems like that, and I can probably say he's not a Rice. Probably not. Actually, definitely not, because they talk about how humans, like need to die and shit. So I don't think he's obviously not one of them. So yeah, he can control the Titans. So that means there's some coordinate out there that does allow for like these types of abilities without having to be a Rice. But we don't know the mechanisms. We don't know what's going on. Now that Armin's back, there's only one thing left to do. Basement time.
Hopefully we'll start getting that next chapter, because there's not really any Titans anymore in this current area. Like they've almost got some breathing room right now.
Zeke and Reiner are pretty much in retreat mode right now. I'm pretty sure what we're gonna get is like a history of Grisha's past and of the Titan, the Shifter village, and probably of what makes a Titan, and maybe the history. I think it's gonna be historical. I think we're gonna have a lot of history behind what the Titans are and why they came to be.
Didn't he have amnesia though, Grisha?
But then but it seemed like he got it back right on the day of. Or you can make the argument that maybe he got it back sometime after. Because remember, he suddenly remembered that, hey, look, there's a Rice family. I'm gonna go eat them, or I'm gonna at least beg them for something. Like, what did he do? He begged for them to help out, and they didn't, and so he ate them or something like that. Something like that. Like, he knew where to find them.
Yeah.
And he seemed to do it on the day of the attack.
And he knew to find them.
Yeah, that's.
Because remember, the Rices were like secret kings.
Yeah. So he had to have learned something, or remembered something. Also, I want to point out something is that there has to be a reason why Grisha probably should have known that the coordinate wouldn't have worked if you're not a Rice. Yet he gave it to Eren anyway. So that means there must be something else that we're forgetting here
or he just wanted to make sure it wasn't in their hands.
Possibly, but I feel like there's something more. Let's see what else is there. Everyone's crying for Armin. Okay.
That's pretty much where we end, really.
Yeah, I mean that's. I like Armin. Had he died, I wouldn't be tearing up or anything like that.
But at the same time, it's kind of obvious he's going to be the one to survive this.
Pretty much. I mean, it was such. They set him up to be the guy. Like that's the thing. Like they even if you second guess things that happened in Attack on Titan, it was just like Ern was constantly saying, you're the one to do it. Armin's. It was just like, okay, if it was Erwin, it's just kind of like the whole. If the Erwin divide, it would just be the only reason he would do that is just saying, hey, you thought you would be Armin, but it's not. Like it just wouldn't. It would seem such like he would just it'd be too superficial, This actually makes sense in a story perspective.
Yeah, and at the same time, like even before this whole operation started, like they were kind of drawing the parallels between Erwin and Armin.
Yeah. I also want to point out that even if they do have the Colossal, if Armin does gain the Colossal Titan, they obviously have a lot of issues. Like he'll probably have to, because the Colossal Titan does have weakness. It's not very good for combat. Like it's just there to be the wall breaker, or just to get people out of the way.
Actually, I had a thought about that, because one thing that kind of occurred to me is like Armin does not have the same level of like hand-to-hand combat training like Eren does, Reiner or Annie did. Yeah.
So Colossal Titan would be he'll make up for that.
Yeah, it's maybe a better fit for Armin than we realize, because like he's got the brains, but he's always lacked brute force. Now he'll have that in spades.
Yeah.
And if he can make good tactical use of it.
Well, one of the big things is that he's gonna have to be able to keep because it took Eren a while to kind of control his Titan powers.
Yeah.
So Armin is gonna have to control it too, because we don't want him to go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Armin, I feel like, but the problem is Armin has to communicate, right? Because he's telling everyone what to do. So it seemed like he shouldn't go Titan mode unless he has to, because he has to be the leader. Kind of behind the scenes.
Or maybe he'll be like the Beast Titan, and his Titan form actually will have the ability to speak.
That'd be weird. Because the Colossal Titan couldn't speak, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we were kind of just discussing, like, he even had the exact same abilities.
Yeah, but then that means he would have gone. It's the fact that he can speak was considered really unnatural, so that must be something extra that I don't think he can just get.
At the same time, the Pack Mule Titan was also speaking.
Yeah, but you have to say those two could have something that Armin doesn't, or doesn't get from the Colossal Titan, or because you can make the argument that those two got something that maybe like another type of bottle or power up that allows them to speak. Because there's a specific reason why they like most Titans can't speak.
Yeah, I think it brought up like the mouths and like built right for it.
Yeah. So if Armin can speak, it have to be a special reason. You cannot just say, oh, it's just by chance he can be the guy he can be the one to speak, because it's convenient. Because it'd just be too convenient. Like, oh, he needs to speak his plans. Oh, he just happens to be the Titan that can speak. How convenient. Like, let's not have that. Let's not have that.
It's not impossible, but yeah, you're right. At the same time, maybe they can develop like a sign language type of thing going for it too.
Well, a lot of stuff that happens in Bleach isn't impossible. That doesn't mean it's good, okay? Yeah. So no, what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm dissing Bleach a lot, but you know what's the last chapter, okay? This is my last chance to say shit, okay? Well, last chapter next week. So for this one, I'm pretty sure he can't speak. It'd be too much of a coincidence. Anyway, so that's it for Attack on Titan.
Yep, that's pretty much everything we got here for Attack on Titan 84, Midnight Sun. We've lost Erwin, but we've got Armin. Let's go ahead and take us away.
Bye.